Hi, everybody. Oops, is it coming? It's going. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to ENMU IS 301. We're on the chapter about data systems and big data, and we're getting to the point where we're talking about big stuff. I like big stuff because honestly, I'm a really incompetent guy when it gets down to it, and Um, I kind of like rubbing the noses of people who think they're so amazing, they're so competent, think they're so much, maybe perhaps better than I am. And I get to kind of rub their nose. And if I say, see, you don't know nothing, you're just like me. Ha 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 ha. Welcome to the club, man. And a lot of people don't like it. No, I like my little box because I got my little box figured out, baby. And you go, I doubt that. Number one, I doubt it. And number two, I can blow your brain apart in about 5 seconds. And I'm not going to attempt to do that today because it's messy, gets all over your computer screen. It's just, you got to clean that mess up. So I'll just kind of help you to grok how just phenomenally incapable and stupid everybody is, and don't let your brains drip out your ears or anything like that. When you finally realize that what you thought you were really good at, you're probably not very good at all. Sorry, and it's no reflection on you. I'm the first one to say I'm probably the stupidest stump in the room. Okay, so don't think it's me trying to get one up on you. It's not there. I'm just hoping to help you see that there's some things that are just simply beyond us, and learn to cope. Learn to cope with it. I don't know if I do a very good job of it, but we'll give it a whirl. Whenever I talk about stuff like this, I'm always thinking about capacity that outstrips capability. It's a new and interesting economics. We wish it applied to other things. Computer types think they should, but for certain other reasons, usually, what are the terms? Power, gain, greed, perhaps. Things don't work that way. You've probably known something interesting about the computer field, or at least how it used to be in the past. I think we're almost getting past this, and we're finding new ways to justify making people pay more for capability when it really doesn't cost anymore. We're finally figuring out how to market it so that people will actually pay for it when they really don't need to. Okay, we live in a world that has a constant stream of bigger computers, faster networks, larger memories, more throughput. You looked at this in previous chapters. You said, "Oh, wow, man, we got big computers. They do all these things. If you do it by the numbers, it's just amazing." Let me give you an example. When I first got into this when I was a teenager, going to date myself here terribly. How many billions of years ago that was? No, it's 40 years ago. 40 years ago, for instance, when I started kind of my computer journey, let's take secondary storage space. For those of you that are more technical, the little hard drives used to have, they used to be much bigger, and they used to store hardly anything. I remember when one of my friends, who was an engineer for Texas Instruments, he bought a hard drive, and it cost him about $10,000. Do you know how much storage it had for all you geeky sorts? 5 megabytes. Ooh, that was huge in those days. You have to understand, back then we had 8-inch floppy disks that stored 100 kilobytes, 160, 180 kilobytes. If you got a really new age one, it might store 300 kilobytes. So having 5 megabytes, that took the place of, I am not a mathematician. I'm not going to try to do it on the fly because I suck at that. Some guys are fantastic. Good for you. I hope it brings you pleasure. It's practically worthless. It makes you look good without having to actually be useful. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It could store several, probably hundreds of floppy drives. K stands for basically 1,000. Actually, it's 1,024 bytes is a kilobyte, just because of how things are kind of goes from binary. We tend to score things hexadecimally, and that gives you a little more space, so you have to kind of account for that. It doesn't matter how we do the counting. So we started with these kilobytes right here, and then we went over here to the megabytes, the next step up. Everything's what I never understood the term order of magnitude, but I always counted it like when you had to put another comma in a number. It used to be that when you got to 1,000, you put a comma between the 1 and the zeros. That would help you kind of keep your place, and that kind of goes here. You would have kilobytes, which is 1,000 bytes. Megabytes are 1,000 kilobytes. Gigabytes, that's just GB. They say they call it gig now. Oh, we got gig. Well, whatever. They are 1,000 megabytes. A terabyte. We are now having the fun of actually working day to day. Most of your computers today will have at least a terabyte of storage space in them. That's a lot. That's 1,000 gigabytes. And the last place, one of the places that I worked at, military installation, stored tons and tons of video that they always wanted to review later. I'm not going to tell you why, because it's top secret and all that crap. Anyway, measured them in petabytes, which is 1,000 terabytes. So, and there's more names, I'm sure, after that. That's not useful at this point in the universe, because you on your home computer have not gotten to a petabyte. But I'm sure people are working on that issue. It's going to come at some point, probably, although we might figure out that it's just not freaking useful anymore. We might come up with a different paradigm. I think we already talked about that before. I've used up all my time. Dang it. Okay, we'll have another video right after this one where we go on to where this really applies to something like big data. So just know that it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. More and more capacity. Capacity is amazing. So we're getting our thing about capacity. Then we'll talk about capability, which is a much more interesting topic. All right, we'll come back and we'll do that here in a few minutes. You just hang on. This is capacity.